Ready? Okay, we're going to call the special meeting of council to order. Going to acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq, and we're all treaty people. Also going to acknowledge the histories, legacies, and contributions of the African Nova Scotia people who've been here for over 400 years. With that, Councillor Sarah McKinnon, Councillor Claire McKinnon, CAO Weirs, Mayor White, forgot my name for a moment there, Deputy Mayor Murphy, and Councillor McGregor, all here and accounted for. Any declaration of conflict of interest? Hearing none. Move on to the approval of the tentative agenda.
Your Worship, I would move that we approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. So we have one item of business on the agenda this evening for the special council meeting, and that's a pre-approval resolution for the fall borrowing for the Cowan Street project and the fire hall roof. CA Weirs, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. So both of these projects have been approved by this council in the past, and we have been using interim financing. What this is all about is the fall debenture sale that the province organizes for municipalities occurs. It requires us us and every other town in the province, if we're going to be part of the debenture sale, we need to, by the 31st of October, indicate that we want to do that by doing this resolution and by having me send in a letter of commitment to the provincial government. With that, they will put our request for financing on as part of the debenture sale, and as a result, we will get a better interest rate. So, you know, it's pretty standard stuff. I'll read the
Please do.
the resolution. Just warn you that it's
Long.
Yeah, it's very long and kind of arcane, but it is what has been is the required format that we use for a resolution of this nature. So it's provided by the province of Nova Scotia. So it's titled Resolution for Pre-Approval of Debenture Issuance Subject to Interest Rate. Whereas Clause 66(1) of the Municipal Government Act, the Act provides that a municipality may borrow to carry out an authority to expend funds for capital purposes conferred by the Act or another act of the legislature, and whereas Clause 91(1)(a) of the Act provides that where a municipality is authorized to borrow money subject to the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Minister, and the sum shall be borrowed by the issuance of and sale of. Sorry, let me start that one again. Whereas Clause 91(1)(a) of the Act provides that a municipality is authorized to borrow money subject to the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, that the sum shall be borrowed by the issue and sale of debentures in one sum or by installments as determined by council. And whereas Clause 91(1)(b) of the Municipal Government Act authorizes the council to determine the amount and term and the interest rate on each debenture when the interest is on a debenture is to be paid, and where the principal and interest on a debenture are to be paid. And whereas Clause 91(2) of the Municipal Government Act states that in accordance with the Finance Act, the mayor or warden and clerk or the person designated by the council by policy shall sell and deliver the debentures on behalf of the municipality at the price, in the sums, and in the manner deemed proper. And whereas the resolution of council to borrow for was approved by the municipal council on November 21st, 2023. So that's when you signed your temporary borrowing resolution. Be it therefore resolved that, under the authority of Section 91 of the Municipal Government Act, the town of Westville borrow by the issue and sale of debentures a sum or sums not exceeding $2,372,179 for a period not to exceed 5 years, subject to the approval of ministry. That the sum to be borrowed by the issue and sale of debentures of the town of Westville in the amount that the mayor or warden and clerk or the person designated by the council deems proper, provided the average interest rate of the debenture does not exceed the rate of 6.5%, that the debenture is arranged by the province of Nova Scotia with interest to be paid semi-annually and principal payments made annually, that this resolution remains in force for the period not exceeding 12 months from the passing of the resolution.
That is the resolution, council. Motion would be accepted. So moved.
Second it.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question.
Under discussion, the Cowan Street restoration, the total amount there, is that 100% accurate?
That is, so so we paid some of it.
Yeah,
So this is what's outstanding for the roof on the police
Yeah,
station, Public
yeah.
Works, and then what's outstanding on Cowan Place,
Yeah.
or on Cowan Road, Cowan Street.
Cowan Street, yeah.
Yeah.
We did
Okay.
not borrow the entire amount for the project.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
Ready for the
okay.
question?
Oh, yeah, one more question. What was our interest rate at the time? Scott, do you recall?
I don't recall, but it would have been higher than this.
Yeah.
Because we used interim commercial financing, but
Yeah.
I don't remember.
To bring it down? So it's
This brings it down.
to 6.5.
Yeah, and the other thing to understand is that, you know, when we have commercial paper, what we end up doing is paying on a monthly basis. And so we pay interest and principal on a monthly basis. Whereas here, what we do is we pay the principal in a lump sum at the end of the year, or you know, one time in the year, and it makes it just so much easier to kind of sort out and improves our cash flow as a municipality enormously.
Okay.
And the reason we didn't do it last year, we had just missed the ventures, plus there were some
Correct.
requirements in around
Yeah.
project completion, substantial completion with Cowan Street. There was some stuff around that, hence that's the reason that we didn't go through this last time.
That's right, there's debenture sales in the spring and in the fall.
Right, yeah.
We
We had
missed the
hoped
spring.
to do the spring, but you'll remember that on Cowan Street, the winter closed in on us, right? Or on the contractor, not on the town, but the winter closed in, and so there was work that was done this spring
Right.
that made it impossible for us to, you know, look the province in the eye and say, this project is substantially complete. So substantially complete in the finance world means effectively 98%. And if you aren't 98% done, you can't attest that you are substantially complete. We weren't substantially complete on either the roof or Cowan Street at that time. And so we got bumped into the fall debenture sale. It only happens twice a year, which is the reason for the special meeting tonight, because if we miss the October 31 deadline, then we're waiting until next spring to do the same thing, and we need to then pay for commercial, use and pay for commercial borrowing until that time.
Right.
So to go to Councillor Clary's question, this document, I think you have that shows the breakdown
Yeah.
between the Cowan Street project and the roof at the fire police building, that comes up with the total that the resolution covers for tonight.
Yeah.
So we're clear on that? Anything else anyone has? Ready for the question?
Question.
Questions called. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. That's the only item of business before us. We have public engagement always on our agenda, though, for any council meeting, including special council meetings. So if anyone has anything to bring before us, now is the time. If you just come to the mic and state your name and address and direct your question or comment.
Lori Peters, 1925 Durham Road. Why is there a special meeting today called this afternoon? Why was this not put into a regular, why was this not at the last regular council meeting?
It wasn't ready at the last regular council meeting.
Why wasn't it ready?
We didn't have all the information.
What did you need?
What did we need? Needed dates.
Of,
When to bring this forward.
trying to understand, you needed dates from what?
We needed to pick dates. I don't know how to,
The date for the debenture itself is.
yeah, so we needed,
Had to do it before the end of this month, right?
Right, so why why was this not discussed at the last council meeting? Why did we have to wait till the very last second?
We did have our council meeting earlier than normal this month because of the Truth and Reconciliation holiday. So it did bump us a month or a week ahead too.
Right, but I don't understand why this couldn't have been on the last council meeting. Why was it like rushed through today?
The dates, as the CAO said, the
I don't
dates,
know how to
the
help
dates
you
and the
more.
information were not ready to be dealt
Is there
with.
another council meeting at the rest?
Pardon?
For this
another regular
council?
council meeting this month?
No.
No, not until after
Not
the
at this
election.
council. Yeah.
so the regular council meeting would happen on the last Monday of, the last Monday of the month.
The month.
But there will be no council at that time because the election happens on the 19th. And there is a 10-day recount period where there is no council in place. And if we didn't do it this week, we would, as I was mentioning a little earlier, we would be missing then the October 31st deadline, and the town would then have to use commercial borrowing pay at a higher rate that is disadvantageous to the town until the spring debenture sale.
How much is the loan?
$2.3 million.
That's for,
I think as I said, I'll just repeat
no,
that.
I understand, I'm trying to figure out, didn't we have money given to us from,
No.
Not for this project.
what is the project?
Cowan Street and the the roofing at the fire department building and police building.
Oh, I know, but what part of Cowan Street? All of it?
All of
Yes.
Elm Street
Yeah,
was
Yes.
done,
when it was
yeah.
paved, yeah.
The
Was
entire.
there not a sign put up that the federal government?
You may be confusing
So
Cowan
that-
Street with the streets adjacent to Cowan Street that were paved this year. And that money, there was grant money, I guess for lack of a better term, gas money used, gas tax money used for those streets, but not for Cowan. Cowan was financed by the town.
The big signs that were put up before, Lori
2.6.
did say, like the 2.6 million or whatever, that was from the Westville Council. They put those up to show that the town was
Okay,
doing that, not the
so-
federal
They just
government.
said the town.
So it was
Yeah.
2.6, so why is it now 2.3?
Because we paid
We
some of
paid
it
some
off
of it
already.
down.
Oh, so
And
did
the-
we have commercial already?
Yes.
Like now, before?
Right, yeah. And so the reason to move to this is to move from higher cost and kind of, with payment requirements that are disadvantageous to the town, to use debenture money, which is lower cost, and pay, and lets us manage our cash flow much better, because it only requires a principal payment one time at the end of the year, as opposed to every month.
Right.
And so it is just far easier for every municipality to use that kind of debenture money to finance thing. And as we said, if the projects had been done in time in the spring, we would have done this back in May, I think it is when the debentures usually go out in the spring. Neither project was done at that time, so we've had to finance them using commercial money until now.
So when the decision was made for the Cowan Street project, it wasn't put in the budget?
Yes, it
Yes.
was put in the budget.
Yes, definitely.
But it was put in the budget as borrowing.
It was put in the budget knowing full well we'd have to borrow the funds for that project. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in the budget.
Needed to understand that, because I didn't.
Okay.
Thank you.
It is a bit arcane, there's no doubt about it. You know, it's a bit convoluted.
Yeah.
So it's twice a year that the
You only have an opportunity
debentures-
twice a year.
Yeah, you only have an opportunity twice a year, and most municipalities in the province go through this procedure because it is cheaper than going through your financial institution. And I would suspect that there were a lot of them that went in May, and there will be a lot of them going in from municipal units now.
Yeah.
It's a
Well, it's
standard
normal.
practice to get anything done.
Yeah.
Is this
Absolutely.
something that's gonna be automatically approved by the province?
Well, yes, probably. I mean, it has to go to the minister. The minister has to approve. It is, as Councilor McKinnon was saying, very standard procedure. Every municipality does this.
Is anybody ever denied?
Oh, not that I know of, but I'm sure, yes, at some point, and it may be, you know, a circumstance under which a minister might deny this is if the municipality did not have the fiscal capacity to actually pay for this. They may say, well, we're not approving this.
Do we have a timeline on when it's supposed to, gonna be paid off?
Yeah,
Yeah.
5 years.
And also, if the project was not completed, I'm assuming
Oh, I suppose, yeah.
you might get denied as well.
Yeah.
That was a circumstance I was thinking,
Yeah.
if the project didn't finish for whatever reason.
Right.
then the financing might become problematic to go from one to the debentures if the asset is.
Yeah, if you aren't
if the
substantially
if
complete.
the asset isn't completed.
Yeah.
Then they might not, but then that becomes, a civil matter between the town and whomever the tender and the contract was with.
Right.
Living elsewhere, I served on 2 other councils, and I've never heard of the province turning down a debenture,
I can't imagine.
but I'm sure they could.
Well, I sat on the Municipal Finance Corporation Board of Directors for 3 years, which is the board that actually reviews this and presents it to the minister. And I remember some instances where, there was projects being pushed, people having to rely on commercial leverage and not wanting to do that, but not having a choice because the project wasn't done. That's the closest I ever came to ever seeing something not. I think that if your town is in that sort of position, you know ahead of time that you shouldn't be applying for any more funds because you're going to get denied. You've already had those conversations with the minister or with the Municipal Finance Corporation because you probably already have some outstandings.
Well, and you went forward back in, when you approved before you approved the Cowan Street thing, you did a temporary borrowing resolution at
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
time to say, Mr. Minister, we want to do this project, it's going to cost 2 point, whatever the right number is, 7 or whatever the right number is, 6. And we're planning on funding this. Are you all right with that?
Yeah.
Minister said yes at that time. So this is now just confirming, Minister, we told you a year ago that we wanted to do this. Please now, sir, assuming it's a sir, it is a sir, on Minister of Municipal Affairs, please now approve this, or confirm this.
From the TBR to the approval process, you'd have to have some sort of calamity or catastrophic event to have your circumstances change that much.
How long does it usually take for the approval?
A few weeks.
I think another thing that could, Your Worship, that they could bring it into, let's say at the time we had applied or we went to commercial and this, if there had been, let's say there was something wonky with our books at the end of the year, and Grant Thornton come in and there was discrepancies and we didn't have a what do they call that? Qualified or whatever it is, like.
Audit, qualified audit.
Qualified audit, maybe we didn't have one of those, then there might be some funkiness there. I think that's another example where they might step in and say, listen, you're not in a position to receive funding. Well, it's not receive funding, but to move the loan from A to B.
Right.
Yeah, you would have already had those conversations.
For many years, Westville was actually a community at risk, and even communities at risk have been able to borrow money from time to time. And it's only during the life of this council that we are not a community at risk. And so we're in a much better financial position than we were 5 years ago or 6 years ago, or even for many, many years we were a community at risk. And we had what I would say was a perfect audit this year. There was really nothing amiss, was there?
No.
And every year we've been getting good audits.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything else anybody has? Hearing none. We do have one item for an in-camera discussion, council, so I'd accept a motion to move in camera.
Second that.
Moved and seconded. Ready for the question?
Question?
Question.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. We're now in camera.